Hello, today I want to talk about dealing with factoring, specifically factoring a difference of squares. What you were looking for when you deal with factoring a difference of squares is to see that your binomial is indeed a perfect square up front, yes, and a perfect square in the back as far as your two terms are concerned, and they are held together specifically with a minus sign. That is the difference part. It has to be subtraction for squares. So, if you recognize that this actually is a difference of squares, square it up front, square it in the back, square it in the front, square it in the back, then you could fill in these two signs here. One is a plus and the other is a minus. If you were to indeed multiply this out, distribute these two terms together, FOIL, however you do it, you will see that your factoring does take you back to your original problem of x squared minus 9. When I multiply x times x, I get x squared. When I multiply positive 3 times a negative 3, I end up with negative 9. Then I need to check my outside terms and my inside terms. So my outside terms would be x times negative 3, negative 3x. My inside terms, positive 3 times x, positive 3x, and those two cancel out, so you are left simply with your first term and your last term, so your factoring checks. Next, let's do this problem. We indeed have a perfect square up front, a perfect square in the back, and it's held together with that subtraction sign. So you are able to set up your two sets of parentheses, take the square root up front, 4a, take the square root in the back, b. One is plus, the other is minus, and if you multiply that out, that will take you back to your original problem. You always want to check these individual factors to see if you can go any further. Problem 3, 9c to the 4th minus 25d to the 8th. I indeed have a perfect square here, I indeed have a perfect square here, and they're held together with that magic subtraction sign, that difference. So I can set up my two sets of parentheses. I take the square root of the front, 3c squared. I take the square root of the back, 5d to the 4th. And then I fill in my signs. One is plus, the other is minus, and our factoring will check out. Next, let us do problem 4 here. I'm looking at this, I see a perfect square in the front, I see a perfect square in the back. So I set up my two sets of parentheses. I take the square root of the front, 9e squared. I take the square root of the back, 4. Fill in my signs, one is plus, one is minus. Please don't stop there, always check it, because in this case, I'm looking at 9e squared minus 4 as another difference of square problems. We know the square root of 9e squared, we know the square root of 4, and it is held together with the subtraction sign. So remember to bring down this first factor. 9e squared plus 4, that one needs to come along for the ride. Please don't leave it off. Now I can factor this individual factor as a difference of squares. Square to the front, 3e. Square to the back, 2. One is plus, the other is minus, and we have successfully factored some difference of squares problems. Thank you very much.